Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show, where we get to the heart of why you overeat and how to stop. If you struggle with food and weight like I did, welcome home. Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show. So happy to have you here. It is a great day to be alive, and I mean that. There's so much to be grateful for. These are very troubling times, and we all got to pull together and get through this together. So one of the ways to do that is to focus on the positive, and you're going to hear a lot about that today on the show, because what I'm bringing to you is the recent town hall that I did, which is an amazing gathering of very smart, very heart-centered, and very informed doctors and health experts. So this show is being brought to you straight, hot off the press from the town hall about the coronavirus and how we can manage worry in times of uncertainty. So I'm really excited to bring this to you. If you're at the Heal Your Hunger Show for the first time, welcome. It is really an honor to have you here. If you struggle with food and weight in any way, that's what we do here is we talk about how to overcome that struggle in really positive, actionable steps. And we do that by dealing with the underlying causes. So this is not where you come for diet tips and tricks. There's lots of other places for that. This is the deeper conversation. This is where we talk about our emotions. We talk about things that trip us up, things that trigger us to binge. I was 50 pounds overweight and I was a binge eater. Binging was really something I did more often than I like to admit because I was so dependent on food. So if you're here for the first time, welcome. I think you'll enjoy this conversation, especially the town hall. We don't address emotional eating in this as much as we address the worry, the fear, and really just getting along during a time of crisis. And it's very uplifting, amazing speakers that are friends of mine as well. So I hope you enjoy the show. Please jump in the Secret Sauce group and say hello there, because I'm going to be on there very frequently, just checking in with short messages on how you can stay sane and emotionally balanced during these times so that you don't eat the house. Okay, so it's so easy to do when we're quarantined and we're sitting there looking at all that food in the kitchen and with all the stress that's roaming around on our shoulders and in our brains. So I want you to have the support you need. So go to the Secret Sauce group on Facebook. Just type in Secret Sauce to End Emotional Eating and join us there. So on with the show. I hope you enjoy this. It's longer than my usual shows, but I think you'll really get a lot out of it. Give yourself this opportunity to just let this information wash over you. There's some great stuff in there that is new, but there's also just great reminders on how to really take care of ourselves. And I think more than ever, we all need that message. So thanks for joining and enjoy the show. Welcome, everybody. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Thanks all my panelists for being here. This is our town hall, how to manage worry in uncertain times. So obviously, we are in uncertain times right now. It's been a crazy week. I cannot believe how fast news has traveled, and obviously the coronavirus has traveled. So we're here because connecting and being in community and seeing each other is more important than ever right now, to boost our moods and to get the right information. And I am so blessed to have amazing friends who happen to be brilliant and happen to have amazing information and really are on, they are health experts and they're top of their field and sharing really powerful information with their own tribes. And so thank you, panelists. Thank you so much for being here. This is my first town hall, to be honest. This is a new format. So we're going to roll. And what we're going to do is make sure everybody gets a chance to share. I don't want anybody waiting, for a long time to speak, because I think there's too much there's too much discussion that's really important that we could have here. For those who don't know all my panelists, I'm going to go ahead and introduce every one of them. And it is like the Hollywood Squares here. So we're going to start with the upper left-hand. I'm going to do it as I see you, as the upper left-hand corner. Raise your hand, please, Deborah. So Deborah Atkinson is a 32-year fitness expert and America Boomer Babes fitness expert. Deborah helps women flip 50 by finding the right exercise and nutrition timing to lose weight and boost energy by creating a healthy environment where that happens easily without struggle. And she's the host of the Flipping 50 TV show and the Flipping 50 podcast. She's an international fitness presenter for leading fitness associations, including the International Council on Active Aging. And I didn't start out by first just letting people know, I'm going to get back to the bios, but letting people know that, you know, what's really important about, well, I'll just do the bios first and I'll get to that. So who's next in my Hollywood squares? Tom, upper right-hand corner. We have Tom. Okay, Dr. Tom Moorcroft is a board-certified physician and infectious disease expert. He is a global leader in solving complex medical mysteries, and he's known as the medical detective. And Dr. Tom combines the very best medical science available with extensive experience in the field, in the hospital, and in his office. But the most notable thing about Tom is his heart. We all know Tom's heart. He's just an amazing guy. All the people on this panel today are amazing, heart-centered people. So you'll find that out if you don't know them already. Dr. Elisa Song, left-hand corner here. Dr. Elisa Song is a board-certified Stanford, NYU, UCSF-trained holistic pediatrician. She founded Whole Family Wellness, one of the first and most highly regarded holistic pediatric practices in the country, based in Belmont, California. And Dr. Song created the Healthy Kids, Happy Kids website dedicated to empowering parents to take charge of their kids' health naturally. And she's come out with some amazing articles on Corona and everything related. As a holistic pediatrician, Dr. Lisa integrates conventional pediatrics with functional medicine, holistic nutrition, homeopathy, acupuncture, herbal medicine, and essential oils. So next we have, I have to look again at Hyla. Dr. Hyla Cass is, let me get you here, is a nationally acclaimed innovator and expert in the fields of integrative medicine, psychiatry, and addiction recovery. One of her areas of expertise is helping individuals to withdraw from both psychiatric medication and substances of abuse with the aid of natural supplements, some of which are part of her own line of innovative nutritional supplements. Dr. Cass appears often as a guest on national radio and television, including the Dr. Oz Show, E! Entertainment, and The View. She's author of several best-selling books, including 8 Weeks to Vibrant Health and The Addicted Brain and How to Break Free. So next we have JJ with a hat on. So JJ is the author of, JJ Virgin is the author of 4 New York Times bestsellers, The Virgin Diet, The Virgin Diet Cookbook, JJ Virgin Sugar Impact Diet, and JJ Virgin Sugar Impact Diet Cookbook. Her latest book, Warrior Mom, 7 Secrets to Bold, Brave Resilience, shows mothers everywhere how to be strong, positive leaders for their families while exploring the inspirational lessons JJ learned as she fought for her own son's life. I look forward to hearing about that. JJ is a prominent TV and media personality whose previous features included co-host of TLC's Freaky Eaters and 2 years on camera as a nutritionist for weight loss challenges on Dr. Phil. And she's been just about everywhere in the media as well. So welcome, JJ. And Sachin with the funky, cool glasses is most notably a father, husband, philanthropist, functional medicine practice, success coach, international speaker, and author. His philosophy is that the doctor is the future. The doctor of the future is the patient, and he's actively doing whatever it takes to keep people out of the medical system and empower them through education, self-care, and remapping their mindset. Sachin Patel is the guardian of truth and a warrior of light. His superpower is taking complex ideas and distilling them down to their essence with easy to understand analogies. That's the truth. Sachin uses this gift to help transform the lives of other people around the world through his organization, The Living Proof Institute. And Dr. Joan, last but not least, is the creator of the Emotional Mastery and Emotional Mastery Training. She's a highly regarded expert psychologist, master clinician, trainer, and consultant. As a cutting-edge psychologist who's known as an innovative thinker, trainer, and speaker, Joan has shared her life-changing ideas and models for emotional mastery, change, and personal growth in professional and educational seminars, psychotherapy sessions, and graduate psychology teaching. She's also two-time TEDx speaker. So welcome my panelists. I am also a panelist, so I won't read you my bio, but I will just say that I am the founder of Heal Your Hunger, which helps people overcome and heal the underlying causes of emotional eating. So it's weight loss from the inside out, and it comes from my personal experience of having been 50 pounds overweight and struggled with emotional eating. I could not lose weight and keep it off until I addressed the underlying causes of why I was compelled to eat in the first place. And, you know, I will just say regarding what I know about emotional eaters, which is kind of how this whole thing came about, is that I was hearing from clients who were saying, eek, you know, like, this is really stressful. They didn't say eek, okay? So they just said whatever they said, but they were posting and stressed about, you know, everything that was going on, and finding, you know, themselves eating in the kitchen and using food to stress, you know, as a stress relief. And what I know about emotional eaters is that they're not only overeaters, they're overthinkers and worriers. And that's kind of how this whole topic of addressing worry came about. And I'm just so glad that, you know, everybody is here and that we're addressing this topic, not just this topic, but I think in talking about the facts about the coronavirus and how to keep safe, this will lessen our worry as well. So I just welcome everybody and glad that you're here. And again, please keep the comments coming. Jackie is my right-hand amazing woman, and she is going to be putting together, sort of letting me know about questions coming in. We'll answer questions on the second part of this. We will be here for 90 minutes. I promise we won't go over. I think it's important that we stick to that. And then in Facebook, we're so glad you're here, and please post questions there as well, because we're monitoring that as well. So deep breath, big deep breath. So yeah, so I really want to start by just, first of all, thank you all so much for being here. And let's just kind of lay it out there, like sort of what's going on in your, like, you know, things have moved fast, you know, in terms of our preparing and trying to get prepared, catching up and being prepared and being quarantined. All of us are, at least in the North America, Canada, or the US, and there's a lot going on here. I'm in LA and sort of under quarantine pretty much. And I want to know just personally, what are the last 2 days, what have they been like for you? So Deborah, I'm going to call on you first, and you unmute yourself, or if you're muted.
No, I didn't even mute myself. So
no worries.
Yeah, it's interesting here in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is where I'm at. They've actually shut down the entire McDowell Mountains and all of the hikes in the last couple of days. So they're really encouraging people to stay close to home and in their own neighborhoods if they're out and walking. So I did notice a lot of families out walking. Kids are on spring break right now, so there's a little bit of that. Had to make a trip to the grocery store for water yesterday, but there's very little of it, you know, in bottles or gallons to be had, and canned goods are pretty much gone. So it's changed dramatically in the last few days. Saturday afternoon, I was at an open house in a functional doctor's clinic with several of our friends, and we were not all that concerned. In fact, somebody got up and spoke and said, hey, who knows somebody who's overreacting to all of this? And I raised my hand. But by Monday, you know, I was feeling very differently about that.
Yeah.
And yeah, now we're taking it seriously, and I get it. And so things have changed dramatically.
Yeah, very fast. Dr. Tom, what's happened in the past couple of days for you?
Yeah, I agree with Deborah. I mean, everything has changed so rapidly. And I was in LA last Wednesday, and by Friday I was like, I'm taking the red eye. I'm not even waiting till Saturday. I didn't think I could even get home. But it's been crazy because the cases we knew were going to blow up, and that's really what happened. I mean, you look at even like last Friday, we had 1,600 cases. Now we have over 9,000 in the US. So we've adapted, you know. I have a few people in the office. They want to come in, but we have quarantine set up in the office in terms of, you know, where people can put deliveries and what we can do. And I'm doing everything virtually. And it's been hard to tell people that we really do need to do this, and we really need to slow down the spread. You know, but even over the last couple of days, which our mortality rate in the US has actually gone down. from what it had been even last week. So something we're doing is right. I mean, the scary part on my side is we're so fortunate in our house, and I'm so grateful for my friends and the fact that I have, lots of food available, and, I can stay at home and still do my work and reach out. But so many people don't have all those options, and it's really kind of been a lot of panic, and we've really been trying to kind of calm that down. But, my colleagues in the front lines have been the ones who've really been, it's scary when you see, I'm in groups with different ER physicians and primary care docs. And I mean, they're talking about reusing personal protective equipment because we're running out because the public bought it up. And now we don't, and I think there was just that emergency declaration to make more goods. And it's just, that's been sort of, I remember the days of working in the hospital and something scary comes in and I'm like, what if I didn't have the protection? You're putting your life on the line. So, my heart and my gratitude goes out to everybody on the front lines who's not able to see their patients virtually and stuff and doing all the hard work. So, I mean, it's kind of hit us both personally and from that sort of professional side as well.
No question. How about you, JJ?
I think up until a couple days ago, everyone thought I was Chicken Little. And sorry, all my family's downstairs. But because I started traveling, I was going international in January, and I went with Joan, and I was the one, I had like face masks and hand sanitizers, and because I was seeing what was going on over there. And I've been watching all of this and stocking up and trying to get people to listen. Trying to get my 90-year-old mom to listen has been the most challenging. She would not stop leaving the house. I'm like, Mom, do not go to the grocery store. I had someone tell me 3 weeks ago, she said, and 1,000 times we're wrong, but that 1,001 we're right. And just prepare right now. What if we're right? So I think that's how we have to operate. I have now got provisions for 4 months, down to medications, everything else, everything I'd need if my family and I get it, what we need to do with IVs and everything else. And I think we just have to prepare for that. And I think as leaders right now, we really have to focus on getting all of our families, our friends, to realize that the most important thing that we could do is, number one, social distance. It's like stay home. And the next thing is to help each other stay positive, because I think that's the second thing that we can do that's most effective for helping us fight this fight against the virus.
Amen. Thank you. Dr. Joan.
On my end, it's a bit of what Tom was talking about. I'm also teaching graduate school, and all the classes were suspended face to face. So I'm part of the group that's taking up some of that Zoom bandwidth to teach. So I taught all day today, and I still have a class to do tonight. So the key that I would say here is in not only to be the kind of the organized and planning in the ways that JJ is referring to, but that one of the things that becomes really important is to be flexible and adaptive, and understanding that it's going to call upon all of us to do that. So I'm, following guidelines and staying out of my own private practice and doing things virtually. The good news is I can listen as well by phone as I can face to face. So that I get to continue to serve in those ways, and also contribute, just in the same way that we're doing right now, is that it doesn't stop any of us from contributing in more significant ways. But it's the real, one of the keys is this idea of being flexible and adaptive. So that's what I'm saying is kind of as a starting point, is kind of a defining element.
I love that. Thank you. Dr. Hyla. Oh, can't unmute. Can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
Hi. In some ways, it's been business as usual because I am virtual, and I am so grateful that I have all my systems in place for that. On the other hand, it's been more overload because I was spending a lot of time educating, reaching out, doing things related to what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's sort of a lot of extra work that a lot of us are doing.
Yeah.
I'm also in great gratitude. I have a home, I have food, I have money to buy food. I have so much that so many don't have. I have a steady income, and even if I didn't work right now, I'd be okay. And I think of all the people who don't.
Yeah.
And that's also a worry. Something else that's been going on is I've had the TV on, not all the time. I'm not a TV watcher, and usually it's, even in other times, it's CNN. So I'm watching CNN, and what's happening is I'm noticing my anxiety level going up.
Yeah.
And I'm not thinking anxious, oh no, I'm not anxious, I'm anxious, but I'm watching this I'm like, who's this? What's going on? And I'm realizing that what's going on is I am resonating to a kind of hysterical, like it's a hysteria. And we have this, and now we have 100,000 more, and then this, and this. And when you listen to that, it entrains you into a very anxious trauma vortex, and that it's not healthy. And images of ambulances and figures of death. And yes, we need to be informed, but there's something about this that's just not right.
Hyla, can I join in with you on that one a little bit?
Yeah.
And the kids, I want to just add about children are at home right now.
Right.
I am very concerned. Mm-hmm. Parents have this on. They may not be conscious of how it's impacting them, how it's impacting the children.
Yeah,
well,
and we're gonna
go ahead. I just wanted to finish that thought.
Yeah, no, thank you.
So no, it's actually totally consistent with what you're talking about, and I think about this from the standpoint of what people call vicarious traumatization or vicarious re-traumatization.
Secondary trauma.
It's the same thing we saw with 9/11.
Yeah.
We see it often with shootings. We see it often where there's a repetition. And people actually keep themselves, as you're describing, in that more heightened state of anxiety and concern, and in essence, traumatize themselves a little bit because they stay in that loop. So I just want to support what you're saying in terms of the importance of taking that in doses and then shutting it down, shutting it off.
The other thing, thank you, Joan. The other thing that's important here is that anyone who has had any kind of early trauma is going to be re-triggered. It's just how we're set up. We're set up to respond to danger. And we've had early trauma. We have our whole HPA axis, our adrenal pituitary, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis gets set up for fight or flight because that's our defense. But we're now in that fight or flight all the time.
Yeah.
And it's really wearing us down. It affects the immune system. And this is a time when we need our immune system to be as strong as possible.
Amen.
So we need to practice self-care, time out to breathe, to meditate. And I know there are a lot of those online. So I'm not going to add one, but I've reminded people about deep breathing and calming yourself, calming your inner child. Think of your inner child being re-traumatized.
We're gonna dig into this a lot more. Thank you, Hyla. Dr. Elisa.
Hey, so I wanted to reiterate everything that Hyla and Joan have been saying. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, and our kids' school, the first day off was Monday, so just 2 days ago, and it's amazing how it feels like it's been forever already. And so, we're all getting used to this new normal of being, and the San Francisco Bay Area currently has the most stringent kind of shelter in home orders. So no non-essential businesses are to be open, and it's definitely like a ghost town here. I am considered a quote essential business as a medical office. So I am still seeing sick kids, trying to make everything as virtual as I can, but unfortunately, I don't have, not that I don't want to see sick kids, but it adds another level of fear, right? Because I have this fear of what am I going to bring home to my kids and Peter. And, you know, it feels kind of absurd to me when I see a kid and I test them for the flu or strep. And part of me is actually a little disappointed when they don't have the flu or strep, right? And so it's a strange position. But, you know, one of the things that I had this moment of panic last night, I've been fairly calm throughout all of this. And when Governor Newsom, you know, said yesterday that very likely we should anticipate being closed for the rest of the school year, not just 3 weeks, but, you know, until summer. And the reality is that I would, as a parent listening, I would prepare for that because I fully expect that to be the case. And we need to be prepared for this new normal. But, you know, as Hyla was saying, you know, many of us have experienced childhood trauma. We know the data around adverse childhood experiences and lifelong health consequences. And this will be an ACE for many of our kids. And so, you know, we all need to find a way to help our children cope. And my coping mechanism has been fact finding, right? Doing the research and writing these articles. But, you know, we do have this opportunity right now to build and teach our kids how to have that emotional and cellular resilience for their lifetime. So, you know, in that, you know, we want to think about how we can do that for the future and for our kids. And as JJ said, positivity is going to be one of those things that really shapes how we manage this, how our children manage this, and gratitude. I mean, several of us have already said gratitude, but it is so important in this time and age to really switch how our brain is looking at this. We will see tragedy and we will see very scary things happening in the near future. It already has. And, you know, as Joan mentioned, when our brains are in high alert and when we feel as though we're in danger, our brains actually look for evidence to confirm that we're in danger. So we have to look for evidence to confirm that we can be safe, that we can be healthy, that we can survive this, and we all have to work together.
Amen. Thank you so much, Elisa. And we're going to get into like the specific, there's a lot of things being brought up here. We're going to get into solutions about all of these things in a minute. Sachin, just want to make sure we hear from you.
Sure. Thanks, Trish. And thanks for doing this. I love all the insights that people are providing. And, you know, just from my perspective, I do work from home already. So it's business as usual for me. In fact, like Hyla, I've actually been busier this week. We had a 150-person event that we had to move online and then postpone the live event, which was scheduled for April. So this is kind of near and dear. It was like a wedding. So it's almost like having to like postpone a wedding. And, you know, I'm looking for all the bright side in everything. And we're going to be able to do something bigger and better and actually serve more people. I feel like this is the servant entrepreneur's opportunity to really be there for their community and to support people and to show people, this is our chance to show people how much we care, not how much we know.
Yeah.
And so I really love the ability to be able to do that and be in a position like many of us are to be able to do that and to come from a place of service and be able to give and pour into our communities has been a great blessing for me. I love spending time with Devin. We were actually in Portugal for 10 days leading up to all this. I just got back on Sunday, so I'm self-quarantining, but I already do that working from home. And it's been great. It's just an extension of his vacation. And, you know, he's at an age where he can keep himself busy and we're able to do our work still. So it hasn't really interfered with our day-to-day norm. But I know for a lot of people it has, you know, and it's been really disrupting. But at the same time, it's what we've all been asking for. You know, the universe always gives us what we need. It doesn't always come in the way we want it to. It doesn't always come gift wrapped in the way we expect it to. And that's one of the reasons people are disappointed, because their dreams are actually everything they've asked for up till this point is unfolding in front of them, but not, you know, packaged in a way that they thought it would be. So it's easy to see the negative in things. But one of the things I'm reminding people of is that, hey, you wanted more time with your family, you got that. You wanted to deepen your faith, this is your opportunity to do that. You wanted to write that letter or read that book, you know, start a new business or finish a project that you started. I mean, all these things that we've been putting off because we didn't have the time. And that's exactly what we have right now. And it's our chance to deepen our sadhana, which in Sanskrit is our daily spiritual practice. And, you know, to really connect deeply with ourselves. I mean, I think the thing that a lot of people needed more than anything else right now is time to themselves, to reflect, to introspect, and really ask themselves tough questions that they've been putting off because they've been so distracted by so many other things. It's kind of interesting that people are begging to go back to work right now. And 80% of the population, if you survey them, doesn't like their job, right? So, God or the universe has given us this opportunity to kind of reevaluate these aspects of our life and reinvent them if we choose to, So
Yeah,
I think
love
that, I try to look at the positive in things. And, we wanted a less polluted planet. Well, guess what? There's dolphins in Venice right now, right? I never thought that I would see this in my lifetime, but I bet a lot of people in Venice never thought they'd see dolphins in Venice in their lifetime. So there's beautiful things that are taking place. The earth is taking a breather. The next thing I would love to have happen in the middle of the night, if all the lights could shut off and we could see the Milky Way once and for all, no matter where we live, we cut out all the light pollution and people just could isolate themselves and stare at the stars for an hour. I think that's the next thing that we need, and just be alone with ourselves and remind ourselves how precious life is. And if we can do that, if that's all we get from this is we rekindle relationships, we say sorry to the people we need to say sorry to, we call the people we've been meaning to call. I mean, these are the things that could keep us busy for months for many of us.
Yeah.
So there's lots of work ahead.
Beautiful. Thanks, Sachin. And I find the same thing too. I find myself just looking for silver linings in this. And there are so many, so many to just kind of take, just breathe a little bit. And like you said about the faith, just feeling like I find myself praying more than ever right now, and just affirming like this is all in divine order. Like there's some kind of order here. It seems very chaotic, but there is some kind of order here, and there's definitely good, in spite of all the pain and suffering that people are going through, there are definitely things that will come from this that will evolve us as a planet and personally as well. So I'm grateful for those things.
And I just want to add, if I can, Trish, because of course, I don't want to seem insensitive to people who live paycheck to paycheck, but my philosophy on life is tough love or tough life. And, if you've worked up to this point and you can't take time off, or you don't have breathing room in your financial, because your financial plan doesn't permit that, then this is 2 weeks to really evaluate that, right? To be able to recreate your financial situation. So in the future, if something like this happens, you have the breathing room. Right? We don't want to just go back to everything as normal in 2 weeks where you're in that same position again. So use this as a deep awakening for yourself, to ask yourself tough questions, to, be silent and listen for the answers, because they're there for you. So you don't have to repeat this cycle. I mean, this is a chance to basically hit the reset button in your life so that you don't have to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. Each and every one of you has a dharma, has a path. The ocean, the cosmic ocean has parted for you to walk this path, and it's your opportunity to do that. If you want life to be the same for you for the rest of your life, then you're going to beg for that same life. But this is an opportunity for you to do something different. And I know that's not easy for people to hear, but it's not easy for people to be locked up in their home for three months and live in uncertainty. So you can choose which is the easier path. And I believe the positivity is the easier path right now, and new beginnings is the easier path, because that sets you up for a better future.
I love that. And also what I keep, my heart hurts for the pain that everybody's experiencing, especially financially, and what I feel comforted by is knowing anybody who's awake in this planet right now is affected. Like we're all in the beautiful thing is we are having a common shared experience, some more than others in terms of the pain threshold or the pain quotient. But this is something, we all have a common enemy, and it's not each other for the first time ever. And I find that that's going to only strengthen us, and everybody's, there's nobody I talk to isn't hurt in some way by this, and especially financially. But yeah, there's a lot for us to talk about and cover here in a short period of time. Lisa, will you please address how to talk to kids about this?
Yeah. So, as Joan was saying, what was the term that you used, Joan? Not collateral damage, but
I talked about it as vicarious traumatization.
Vicarious traumatization. So, I think that one of the most important things we can do, especially because many of us are working at home while our kids are studying, playing, whatever it is, do not have the TV on as background noise, watch what you're watching on your Facebook or news feed on your computer with little eyes peering over. It's too much for them, and it's too much for us. I've just had to take media breaks, and I'm trying to keep abreast of all the changes, but it is too much. It's too heavy, and really schedule that screen time. But in terms of talking with kids about what's going on, one of the first things is really, as we get questions from our kids and, as they express concerns or different emotions, the first thing is to really monitor your own reactions. If you're having a freak out moment and you're panicked and you're scared on the verge of hysteria, just step aside and manage those feelings, kind of address those complicated feelings, away from your kids, and then come back and acknowledge that, yes, you're scared. Yes, you're anxious. You have this range of feelings, but our kids are listening and watching and learning how to respond to stress and trauma from how we're responding. So we want to give them the tools to be able to respond in a resilient way. And then in terms of really when your kids ask questions, even before you say anything, the most important thing is just to stop and really listen to them. Really listen to what they're asking. And depending on their developmental stage and their age, they may be asking very simple things. We don't want to read into their questions. The other day, as we were playing Monopoly, having fun, just all of a sudden, out of the blue, Bodhi just asks, Mama, someone at school said that all grandparents are going to die. Is that true? And I had to stop, and I kind of had a panic moment too, of wow, like where is he hearing this? What does he mean? Is he really worried about this? And so I just told him, look, it's not true that all grandparents are going to die. We know that the vast majority of people are going to have mild illness. And that was it. And I just waited to see what other questions he had. And he just said, okay, and went on with the Monopoly game. Right. So we want to really listen and answer the question that they're asking, and then really figuring out, helping them put a name to their feeling, whatever they're feeling, because we want to validate the whole range of feelings. And I know Joan is going to talk about this. We don't want to brush that feeling aside. We don't want to laugh if it's a feeling that we think is maybe not appropriate, because our kids are going to be feeling lots of different things. And so if they can name it, that really helps. Some kids are just going to be really annoyed and irritated that they can't go to Disneyland for spring break anymore. And that's okay, right? We want to help them work through that. Other kids are going to be really afraid that that their grandparents really are going to die. And so, we want to help them understand what they're feeling, acknowledge that. And then when we're really thinking about what they can do, how they can work on this feeling, we want to focus on how they can really be in this world, show up and be a positive force, whether it's helping to keep the house clean and and safe from bringing home germs, or whether it's washing their hands really, really well and effectively and sneezing in or coughing into their elbows so that they keep their community safe. So whatever part that we can do in helping kids understand that they do have some power here, that they do have some ability still, even in this uncertain time where they can't see their friends, or their close family members, that they can affect a positive change. And really remembering and reminding our kids that social distancing in this day and age does not need to mean social isolation. We can still have our careers. Look at us on Zoom right now. Where many venues are changing their conferences to virtual. I was supposed to fly to Seattle at the end of March for a conference to speak at a conference. That's going to be done virtually. We can have virtual play dates, dance parties online. So many organizations like Mindful Schools, and different yoga studios are offering yoga classes and mindfulness classes and group playdate activity classes for your kids. So seek those out, because just because we need to stay 6 feet away from other people doesn't mean that we can't be with them virtually. And the final thing I just want to say is, in the first few days, this weekend, when we were told that school would not resume on Monday, we had kind of a little free for all. We watched TV, more than we normally would, and we kind of planned out what the week was going to be like. But having a routine and a schedule is really, really important for all of us to feel safe. So whether you're a parent listening, whether it's a child, whether it's a teenager, we really want to, Monday through Friday, if we would have been at school, we would have been at work, we want to get up around the same time. We actually want to get out of our pajamas, right? Don't lounge around in your pajamas all day, right? If you usually put on makeup, do that. I mean, really maintain as much of a quote normalcy as possible, because this will last for months. And this is going to be our new normal. And so what we did was we just printed out, I'm going to show you guys, I don't know if you can see, but it's an Excel spreadsheet. We literally put, this is Monday through Friday of this week. And we're going to do this every week, where the kids just put down from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., which is their bedtime, what's their daily schedule going to be like. When they wake up, they have quiet reading time. When's breakfast going to be? School time, exercise time to move your body, right? Time to play. If you're a teenager, you want to schedule in that social media time and that, TikTok time, or that time to text with your friends, and not have it be just a free-for-all. That is not going to serve anybody. So this is not summer vacation. This is not the weekend. We want to keep to as much of a schedule as we can. And that's going to help all of us, because as we work from home, many of us who are working from home, you do need some quiet space to work also. So if you schedule your kids for, their school time, that's your time also to get your work done. And then you can schedule together that exercise time to get fresh air and be together. So really, routine, super important.
Elisa, I thought you were talking to me, actually. I need all these things for myself. I don't have any kids at home. I'm like, yeah, I need to. Can I print that out?
Well, you're not in pajamas right now. I don't know if you're wearing pajama bottoms, but you look good.
So thank you. And thank you, everybody who is commenting in the chats, both in the Heal Your Hunger group on here. We really appreciate positive comments. We're here, all on our own time. Nobody gets paid to do this. We're not promoting anything or selling anything. We're here because we want to help, and we want to have community, and community solutions. So that's really what we're here for. So thank you for the good juju that you guys are sharing. If this doesn't, float your boat, please just feel free to just move on, because we're here and we're doing this from, with all sincerity. So thank you, everybody who's bringing positive comments. It means a lot to us. Some people are on the East Coast and staying up later, and we need juju. We need your good juju to make this all a really good event. So thank you so much. JJ, I want to pivot to you and say, I mentioned it in your bio, but can you just very briefly talk about what you went through and how you got through it?
Yeah, and it was reminding me when Hyla said about adverse childhood experiences, and she knows because she was with me in the hospital. 7 years ago, my 16-year-old, he was then 16 years old, was hit by a car and left for dead in the street. And I spent 4.5 months in the ICU with him, where he was in a coma, multiple brain bleeds, nearly died multiple times. And I still remember what it felt like the first couple weeks there, where he was, it was in between, would he live or would he die, and the adrenaline and the anxiety. And I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm right back there again with that. And what occurred to me kind of a couple days into that was, if I don't put my self-care at the top of the list here, I'm not going to be able to take care of him, because I can't get sick and go into that ICU. And it's really that same way we have to think about this, is in order for you to be able to get through this, take care of your family, help your friends. I mean, I'm going to stop for a minute with that and tell you I have this mission I want to get out right now, where they talk about the 2-not, that one person will infect at least 2 other people. And I thought, well, what if it's the 2 yes instead of the 2-not? And what if there's a power of 2? And what if at least if each person just helped 2 other people, someone who's alone, which I'm really scared about, are the people alone in an apartment closed up, or someone who doesn't have enough money. I mean, 6 years ago, I couldn't buy a month's worth of food. And I know there's a lot of people in that situation, and I have been looking out for people in my community and sending them products. So I'd love to see us do that. But I think back to that time, and I realized back then, that the only thing that was going to make me be able to get through this, take care of my son, do what I needed to do, was to put my self-care first. And that isn't selfish, that's actually selfless, that in order for us to get through this, we have to have such strong immune systems. And the very first thing that I started with was my mindset. And I started to frame my day. And this is a great thing we can do now. I just had a team meeting today, and we started the team meeting with what were we grateful for? And so I get up in the morning, and every day, because, you know, I can feel that anxiety. It's like waking me up in the morning. I'm like, all right, what am I grateful for? And during the day, when I'm starting to feel it bubble up, I reach out to people, and I love these things. And we were all playing as we were starting, because it's like, feels so good to connect, you know? And so I have just made a point of connecting throughout the day with people, getting on FaceTime, doing lives. And then at the end of the night, it's like, what were the wins? What were the little miracles? So I call that my jam: gratitude, appreciation, miracles. It takes less than 5 minutes. It doesn't cost anything. And I would tell you, you know, that is going to have such a boost to your immunity. Now, I know we're going to be talking about strategies for health, and there were a lot of things I did for health because I knew I couldn't get sick. So I was kicking up my immune system. And you look at the people who are surviving this, you know, the big goal here is that none of us are going to get this, and we're going to be all part of the solution of flattening that curve. But, you know, if you do get it, you want to be as strong as possible going in, because when you look at the statistics, it's the people who weren't strong that are in trouble. And so I knew going into the ICU with my son in a coma with tubes coming out of his brain, I could not be sick. And so that's how I presented it, that there was no margin for error. There was no, oh, you know what, I'm just going to go eat the pizza and ice cream, or I'm just going to stay up too late tonight. It's like, put your health and yourself first, work on your attitude first, and what's good about what's going on. And again, what's good about going on. My family is all downstairs, and we are spending time together, and each person's trying new recipes every day. And, you know, I mean, there's a blessing there. So we can find them if we look.
Amen. Thank you, JJ, for sharing that. Tom, can you share a little bit about what you just touched on it, that the death rate had gone down? Can you just dig into that a little bit more for us? We're going to just FYI, we're jumping all over the place here tonight. So why not?
Yeah, well, it's always fun to be the person who gets to talk about all the digits and stuff, but
you have the weird glasses and that beard thing. So
yeah, right. I sort of did it to myself, I guess. But yeah, I mean, we've seen doubling, you know, every 2 to 3 days in the US. And that's really because of two things. One is, as we all know, the virus is spreading. But the other thing is we're actually starting to do a little bit of catch up on testing. So some of the increased numbers is just that we're accounting for more people who already have it. And, you know, but what we're seeing though is the more cases that are confirmed in the US, you know, our mortality rate goes down. And globally, though, we've been sitting around the, you know, sort of 3.5–4% mark for a while. But what JJ was saying is really important is if we look at Italy, who's been hit so hard, they have an older population, but they also are going into it not all that strong. Hi, Daisy.
I know.
And
then scratching at the door.
And, you know, they're not as strong going in because one of the biggest things going on there is there are a lot of smokers. And we have found that this is a big respiratory thing. So one of the best things you can do is not smoke, but if you are a smoker, you can take the time to do that now. And I think it was Patricia Arquette or whatever was doing a thing on Twitter or Instagram or something with her followers where they're all going through the cold turkey, getting through it right now. And they're like, this totally sucks, but it's more important to be here for myself and everyone around me. So, but what we're seeing is the spread is, you know, pretty consistent and pretty rapid. And so we've started to talk about the social distancing a bit tonight. And I love to reframe it as, you know, physical distancing, because as Elisa said, I might be more socially engaged right now than I've been in the last year or two. You know, it's just like, I have to be connected with everybody. So we need to have that space so that we're less likely to transmit the virus. And what's so cool is, and the thing with our kids, they're less likely to be at risk than, say, people who are in their 60s, 70s, 80s, or people with other pre-existing medical conditions. but they could potentially be asymptomatic carriers or people with very mild disease and then give it to other people. So the worst part is like the grandparents, we're all off from school, the kids want to go see their grandparents, and maybe that's not the right time to do it. But with this physical distancing, it's really interesting because we're talking about gratitude and what we're all doing for each other. We are, especially those of us who are relatively healthy, are actually doing more by staying away from other people. We're doing more to help them than ourselves. And so we have the whole globe coming together to actually help protect other people more than ourselves, because social distancing is really to help prevent the spread to other people, you know? And so it's even like Sachin said, he's doing a self-quarantine to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
So the numbers are changing, but what also is really cool is we're diving into looking at not only medications that may be effective, and we have a bunch of new medications people are looking at that have shown very good promise, but also now we're talking about things like quercetin and artemisinin and some herbals that can be helpful. So the dialogue from even a week or two ago is really shifting to, hey, we actually have, people are mobilizing rapidly, and we're starting to see that there might be some treatments as well as these preventive measures.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you so much. That's some good stuff. I want to talk about just literally like one of you mentioned, or JJ, you know, literally that let's talk about the supplements. Let's talk about the things we can do to stay healthy. I mean, I love hearing about this stuff. We'll just,
Hey, can I say one little thing?
Yeah.
Here's another silver lining. And I'm sure everyone, you know, who's all of us here will agree on this, is it is very tough talking about prevention. No one ever wants to hear when we're talking about prevention.
So true.
And it's much easier to do prevention than it is to do the, like, what you have to do once you have it. So I feel like finally prevention is getting its, you know, it's getting its attention that it needs. I hate for this to have to be the reason, but if one of the silver linings in this, we start to be more proactive about our health, it's fantastic, because there are very clear things that you can do here that will make a big difference. Now, I know it's my soapbox, but my gosh, this is the time to get the sugar out of your diet. Like, get the sugar out of your diet. You want to mess your immune system up? Eat sugar. So we are not doing that. Get the sugar out of your diet. It's time to taper off of it. If someone here is going, I can't get the sugar out, then reach out to Tricia and I will send you the program, because you can get the sugar for free. Like, I made a decision. I'm like, whatever anybody's saying, I will send them the information, what they need to do for free. And now, quite often I find that when you give people things for free, they don't do it, but I think we're all highly motivated at this point.
And JJ, you know, for kids especially, we as parents have a tendency to think, oh, our kids are sad, they're frustrated, they're suffering, and we want to treat them with sugar, but that is a no-no. Please do not do that, right? Do not give your kids more sugar, because it's only going to harm their immune system.
And a quick little point too is, if you look back at the Spanish flu epidemic of 1918, osteopathic physicians said the things like JJ was saying, and they also included mild daily movement and fresh air, and their morbidity and mortality rates were greater than 10 times less than every other doctor. And we have such a huge ability to influence our children. So the other part is not only not giving them the sugar, but don't let them catch you sneaking it.
Right, because they'll do. I remember I had a client who was a cigarette smoker, and I said, do you want your kids to smoke? And she said, oh, no, they won't smoke. I go, sure they will. You just gave them the okay. So, you know, getting the sugar out, there's a lot you can do for diet. But, you know, Deborah is doing exercise classes. So I've been going out, I've been getting my feet in the grass outside. I'm fortunate. I've got, like, I live on a canal. I can paddleboard. I feel so grateful for that. But, you know, we also turned our living room into a yoga studio, Deborah. So we're going to be doing it. So why don't you talk a little bit? I just stepped over and I'm being bossy here.
So instead of being, we're going to do exercise in a minute.
Okay. So do you want to talk supplements and stuff?
No, I want from each of you, I want your 3 top recommendations for staying healthy. Go, JJ.
Just 3. Well, I can give you the South Korean protocol that they've been, but one of my doctor friends got the protocol from South Korea. So it's basically vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin A. I never say this right, Tom. It's andrographis or whatever that one is. You know the one I'm talking about?
Andrographis.
Andrographis and zinc and quercetin. So I've got a supplement protocol I'm happy to share. So low sugar diet, taking those supplements, and then getting good sleep. Sleep is so critical for having good immune system, and you know, dealing with stress. So I'd say those are my top.
Everybody gets 5. Everybody gets 5. JJ,
Okay.
put that in the chat, will you? And then we'll move on. So Deborah, you're next. But we're going to talk specifically exercise in a minute. But Deborah, what are your top 5 for staying healthy?
Not just supplements, just 5 habits.
Yeah, it can include supplements if you want. Just 5. Just pick 5. There's so many, and we got a bunch of people here. So
Number 1, I'm going to come back to what Elisa and Joan, everybody confirmed, routine. So keep your routine. Your body likes routine. Sleep, again, I'll emphasize that one. Find your sweet spot for exercise. And Tom really alluded to it. I mean, we're not talking about do too much. So those of us that love it and negate our stress that way, we actually need to pull back and do less. Those who aren't moving probably need to start. We all need to move, but finding that sweet spot for you, and it may not be exactly somebody else's, and then taking those supplements. So vitamin C, D, and zinc have been big ones for me, reducing inflammation. Otherwise, with omega-3s are also really helpful. So I think that's 4, close to 5. But
okay, beautiful. Thank you, Hyla.
Oh, she's muted.
So first of all, JJ, that was great. That's the protocol that I give as well. I'll add in colloidal silver, very good for preventing all kinds of illness, and it doesn't kill the microbiome. So I recommend a teaspoon to a tablespoon twice a day. Swish it around in your mouth as well. So the other thing is, besides the immune supplements, we want to give things that will actually chill you out. And there are a few supplements that actually do both. So we all know Trudy Scott, right? She just sent me some papers that were just brilliant, showing that both GABA and theanine actually not only calm you down, but also enhance the immune system. Who knew?
Great.
And for years, I've had a product called Calm that has both of those in it. So if you can find a product like that with both theanine and GABA in it, you're way ahead of the game. You're going to calm down. You're going to support your immune system. The other product that does both is full spectrum hemp oil, or CBD. And it's an amazing product because it enhances your whole endocannabinoid system. And by doing that, it deals with anxiety, depression, pain, stress, and heals the gut. It heals it enhances immunity. It does all this because it's part of the endocannabinoid system, which is ubiquitous. It's a balancer of everything. And I have information about it on my website. I have, in fact, a blog called, I think it's something like, What is the Endocannabinoid System? So,
Okay, beautiful. Was that it, or was there one more? Were you good?
No, hemp oil, GABA, theanine. I think that's a good, and silver.
Okay, and if you put that in the chat as well. And for everybody listening and watching, we're gonna compile this on one whole page along with each person's website, and we'll post that with the recording that'll be in Facebook. Okay, Joan.
I have no contribution by way of supplements.
No worries. You got some other ones.
I've got some other ones. So top 5. Again, people have said it, but one of the places I would start is to shift this notion of panic and anxiety to, if you need, to calm and concerned, because the worry and the panic compromise the immune system. It's extremely well known. So things like JJ and others have said, focus on optimism, focus on gratitude, focus on wins, focus on love, focus on thinking, speaking, and acting only in the direction you want things to go. So that means positive, not negative. The people have talked about calendarizing. So so for me, I ended up with a whole bunch of C's. So the goal is to create, in quotes, a sea change. But it's the second would be having to do with routine. So I'm totally in agreement with cleaning up and showering, getting like you're ready to go someplace. setting up a schedule, as Elisa was pointing out, and because there's something about creating a sense of order out of nothing that makes a huge difference in calming ourselves down. So when we have, even though we have to create it, when we have that sense of order, that often brings more calm. I also think it's an opportunity for completion. So that if there's projects or things that are left undone, this is an opportunity to, if you're not too overwhelmed with family members encroaching on you or whatever it might be, it's an opportunity to declutter. It's an opportunity to complete projects and do those kinds of things. People have already done all the exercise elements, and that would, for me, be up-leveling their chi. But I also think there's two other real big ones that I want to focus in on. And again, some of this has already been said. This is an opportunity for contemplation. So Sachin was kind of led us in that direction. It's really an opportunity to self-reflect, to think from a bigger place. What does this mean? What does it mean for me? What does it mean for my family? What does it mean for my community? What does it mean globally? And it's interesting that the issue is centered around breath, and we're all being asked to kind of take our collective breath. And as a result of that, I think of that from a meditative or a contemplative kind of standpoint. Another is that you can use this time to be curious and creative. So as much as you're completing things, you can also, if we anticipate that this is going to be something that stretches out over a long period of time, then learning a new skill, or learning a new language. Or if you have creative skills, we see the Facebook posts about the Italians singing across the courtyards to each other, right? That's creative endeavors. There's friends of mine that are playing music to each other now via the internet, or musicians are doing that. So if you have something that you're already creative at, this is a time to kind of, if you will, up level that, and otherwise find something new to develop. And then the last big one is centered around this whole idea of again, I'm going to throw three things together here: the collective, community, and contribution. That this is a time for us to kind of come back to a simpler kind of high values. This notion that we're all in it together, and that we allow this experience to bring the best out of us, not to descend into it's all about me alone. And again, there's the temptation to do that because it pulls on our survival needs. But at the same time, if we think about it from the standpoint of community and collective, then we reach out more, we connect more, and the connection being a central thread through all of this. And then when you have the opportunity to contribute. So those would be a handful of.
Thank you, Joan. Yeah, I've got like a lot of bookshelves, a bunch of books. And the other day I'm looking at them thinking, wow, I might actually get to read some of these things. It's like, how amazing. And the language one too, Spanish, it's been on my list for way too long. So thank you for bringing that up. There are so many silver linings and so many, like, they're just little things that are just gifts, absolute gifts that we can focus on. Okay, Sachin.
Hey again. So I like to focus on the basics, and sometimes the basics aren't very sexy. And I know that some of them have been mentioned. First and foremost, sleep. Sleep is the most parasympathetic thing that we can do. And all you got to, I know it's hard to sleep nowadays because we want to be on our devices or watch the news or kind of stay up to date on things that are going on. That's why I'm wearing these funky glasses, because, sleep is one of the things that I prioritize. If you look at children, when children are unwell, what do? They sleep, they shut up, and they stop eating. So there's, we can learn from children in times of crisis what allows our body to heal. better than anything else. The other thing is grounding, reconnecting with nature. I think this is a great opportunity, as JJ mentioned, for all of us to do that, and spending time in nature, not just, spending a few minutes with your bare feet on the earth, but actually going for a walk. I mean, I literally hugged a tree today and I have the picture to prove it, because it's time for us to reconnect, right? And do the basic, the fundamental things that we weren't doing, right? It's almost like nature's calling us back, and it's our time to listen. And gratitude, having a gratitude practice. A really simple trick I learned, or tip I learned from a friend, Chip, is setting a gratitude alarm every day. So you can set one in the morning, you can set one midday, and you can set one in the evening. And anytime my gratitude alarm goes off, my son knows to list a few things that he's grateful for that day. And it kind of puts that habit in place for you without you having to think of it. And, sometimes my gratitude alarm will go off when I'm with my friends, and I'll ask them what they're grateful for. So it's something I try to practice on a daily basis. And the last thing is laughter. I think that, laughter is the best medicine. We've been saying this for a long time. And, I was watching some George Carlin videos the other day. Find your favorite stand-up comedian and just laugh your butt off. Get on a phone call with somebody who's going to uplift your spirits, because we know that increases specific chemicals in our body that help us heal deeper. So this is a time to really practice the foundational things that we all know we should be doing, and we've got a very good reason to do them now.
Thank you. And Tom, I think we haven't gotten your 5 yet.
Well, I think that my 5 are a lot like everybody else's. Number one, I'm totally with Sacha. We got to sleep. Adults, you really need 8 to 9 hours of sleep. If you think you can get away with less, you're probably lying, and the science doesn't support that. And our kids need more. My daughter who's 10, needs 10, 11, 12 hours a night to really be healthy. Our brain detoxifies about 70 to 90% while we're sleeping, and the rest of it's during the day when we're all stressed out. So got to get some Z's. And like Sachin said, the blue blocking lenses, turning off the tablets earlier, really helpful. Other thing is turn off your Wi-Fi at night. It'll be amazing. People with insomnia are amazed at how well that works. And then the other part is, if you're having a hard time going to sleep, get up in the morning and then get sunshine. Because like Sachin was talking about melatonin, think about it. Melatonin is a hormone that helps with our circadian rhythm. It's super anti-inflammatory, super immune boosting, even has anti-cancer properties, but it starts when we get natural sunlight in the morning and then at night when it gets dark. So if we keep fighting our natural tendencies, the best way to sort of, somebody said this quote the other day, but the best way to kind of like beat Mother Nature is to like follow her lead or whatever it is, but we can't win. We have to work with nature. And the other part is, we've talked about diet and removing the sugar, but we have to have a plant-based whole food diet with lots of rainbow of veggies in the beginning, and add your meats or your other proteins in the back end. The exercise every day, as Deborah said, don't start doing something crazy in the gym like I might do or she might do, and maybe even back off, but just do a little bit more than you did yesterday to get, and then to get that fresh air. And as we all said, we need to chill out, whatever the heck that is, meditation, prayer, reading, writing, picking up the Spanish book that you haven't looked at, drawing, And then my last tip, because I agree with what everybody's saying, but the number one tip I have is pick one thing that you're going to do and do it now. Because, JJ and I were talking yesterday, and JJ, if you can fill in the blanks here, but it was like there's a study of like meditation combined with EFT, and they increase immunoglobulins by like 100-fold in 7 days. So these parts of your immune system that make antibodies and go after infections, you have the power to increase by doing some sort of meditative chill out practice, whatever that is for you, in 7 days. So if you start tonight, this time next week, your immune system could be 100 times more powerful than right now.
118% increase, not 100.
Thank you. 1,800. Well, that'll be double. That's double. Thank you for clarifying. But still, the bottom line is you have the ability to do this yourself. It's free. You just have to start right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say regarding, for the emotional eaters here, all these things, of course, are going to impact your emotional eating habits. So if you're a nervous eater, a stress eater, or you can't control how much sugar you're eating, you know, all these things are obviously going to help. Anything we do to lessen stress is going to help with stress eating as well. So Elise, I don't think we got your 5 from you.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add to everything that you guys are saying, because I'm so glad that we're all saying very similar things, right? The only thing I would add to the supplements, JJ, I don't know if you said this, but what I've been getting kids on is vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, and vitamin A, like you mentioned, but also glutathione, I think is really, really important as well. Just again, the no sugar and the sleep. But as Sachin said, he mentioned very briefly, I think just once, this parasympathetic state that we really, really need to get our kids into and ourselves into, because we are not going to heal. We're not going to stay as strong and healthy as we can if we can't get out of that fight or flight mode. And this is not just about relaxing, you know, being emotionally calm. This is about cellular health. This is about our immune health. And so, you know, and I really like to give parents and kids very, very concrete guidance on how to do this, because it's one thing to say, oh, go out and meditate. But for kids and parents who have never meditated, they may not even know what that means, right? And so, you know, with gratitude, of course, we can be grateful, but, you know, in a concrete way, I tell parents and kids about this one study with college kids, and they did a 6-week loving kindness meditation. Excuse me. And just in those 6 weeks, they repeated 4 sentences. 4 simple sentences, and that increased heart rate variability, gave them a greater sense of connectedness to others, which is what we all need right now, and increased positive emotions. So there's 4 simple sentences you could say every night together, projected out to the world. May you feel safe. May you feel happy. May you feel healthy. May you live with ease. 4 simple sentences. Just say that together as a family. Laughter is so key. Find things to laugh about. You know, have a good belly laugh, a good guffaw. I mean, I posted on my Instagram and Facebook page, my son did an emoji, an animated emoji of the poop emoji. And for half a minute, 30 seconds, he's making poop and fart sounds, right? I'm like, it was so funny. And so I had to share, because you want to find the things that are going to make you laugh. And we can't forget about that diaphragmatic breathing, that belly breathing, but teach your kids how to do it the right way. So, you know, they can look up on YouTube. There's a really fun Elmo video with Colby Calais and Common, the rapper, that teaches kids how to belly breathe. But if you really want to know how to belly breathe, you know, give your kids the tools. There's a Stop, Breathe, Think app for kids, for young kids, that has these animated quote missions that can teach them how to do square breathing or belly breathing or calm down exercises. For the older kids, there's an oak, like the oak tree and oak app that you should absolutely use their breathing exercises. And my favorite that I start every single morning with, and if I don't start every single morning with, it sets a different tone for the whole day. On Insight Timer, which is a free app, Megan Winkler has a 5-minute breathing meditation, just 5 minutes. It really makes a difference. And if you don't feel like you have 5 minutes to do this, it's because you don't want to. So make it a priority.
I love that. And a lot of people are putting here, thank you, Elisa. And a lot of people are putting here, love Insight Timer. I get all my clients, you know, I teach meditation with my clients as one of the very, very important tools to overcoming emotional eating. And every day I'm on the Insight Timer doing my meditation with the gong and everything, but they do have guided meditations as well, which is great. But something you said, thank you for posting that. Something you said, Elisa, about the morning, starting your morning, and I think that is so key, is having a morning ritual that is spiritual and calming and centering is so, so important. And don't wait till later in the day when you really need it. Start first thing when it's most quiet and when you have that opportunity to start your day with meditation, prayer, spiritual reading, maybe going for a walk and praying, something that can really make you feel grounded and centered and really connected to a divine source, you know, that you can, it's like you're putting money in the bank at the beginning of the day, and you can draw on it throughout the day when you need it most. Because if you don't have those resources later in the day, it's always going to be the unhealthy habits, you know, the food, the sugar, the TV, that whatever it is, the stress that we're going to turn to instead. So put money in your bank first thing in the morning with that morning ritual. I cannot, emphasize, I'd be a goner without that. So, so important to start your day off right. Get your head right, get it on the right track. You're going to have things that are going to pull you throughout the day, but when you start your day on the right track, thinking positive thoughts, being in gratitude, it's going to be much easier to stay that way throughout the day. So something I wanted to just touch on, like I said, was the exercise, and then we will take a few questions. But Deborah, what are you offering, and what can we do during the day? We're all in the house now, not moving our bodies nearly as much as we normally would be when we're out more doing active things. So what can we do to stay active and to stay really energized?
Definitely, just even the simple things. So go for a walk if you can walk. If you've got a bike in the house that you can put on a trainer or whatever you've got, but walking is easy. If you are in a northern climate, the weather isn't cooperating, you can put music on and walk, or you can dance in the house. So what you do and how you do it, less important than you're in a routine of doing it. Similar to, setting your schedule for first thing in the morning, get your body used to it. So it's going to look forward to it, set it aside. And there's so many reasons why. So the lymphatic system, number one, get that going, but you're also going to boost your mood, which is going to help decrease anxiety and decrease symptoms of depression. That's going to help you not buy into the cravings. And it's also takes 10 minutes a day to increase self-reports of quality of sleep by 33%. And there is no intensity gauge there. It's 10 minutes of movement. If you can get outside, I would sincerely advise get sunshine, get movement, and even if you're talking into your phone, venting, especially for women, those three, that's like the trilogy of any depression medication you can take. It's as good or better. So that's not to say stop taking what you're taking, but it's an excellent way to boost serotonin levels, which is going to make you feel good, and staying in that routine is really good. So start doing something.
Love it. Thank you.
Yes.
JJ, you're the ear. You got an exercise bone in your body.
So first off, I love that Deborah is doing these live free virtuals. I will tell you that I have been a yoga resistor for 30 plus years, right? And then I finally start going to class, and now of course this happens. So, and I know I won't do it by myself, but the fact that she's doing these live, I just love. So I think that this, just like everything else, I love the way that everyone's talked about scheduling, because I found myself the last couple of days, I went, oh my gosh, I've been working 12 to 15 hours a day, and I've been violating all of my own rules, and I'm still in my pajamas. And the only thing I was doing was changing a shirt because I had to be on video. I think one of the most important things now is to get up in the morning, do your positive focus, some mindset work and journal work, and then go and move. And it's a great thing now that we're home. I think there's two things we can take advantage of. One is that it's a great time to intermittent fast. It boosts your immune system, right? So this is perfect. So I get up in the morning now, do that. Then I go and I actually have a home gym. I feel very fortunate. I go and work out there. But you can have a home gym in a very small amount of space by your body and body weight. So you can do it just with yourself, right? And I am happy to give out my fitness stuff for free. I've got some videos that everyone can have for free as well. And Tricia, I'll give those to you to give out. And Deborah's been doing these things live, so we definitely should get those out to everybody as well, so that you have no excuse. And when I owned a gym, I used to have t-shirts made for everybody with a big red circle with a no excuse. So I think this is a time, since we're home, that you need to schedule in your exercise. And ideally, it would be fantastic if you would schedule in some kind of burst style training 3 times a week, something where you go all out and recover multiple times. So some kind of a HIIT, high intensity interval training, and then some kind of resistance training 2 to 4 times a week. and then do some flexibility and stretch a couple times a week and walk every day. And so you just could schedule that in little bits. So I have my bigger workout in the morning to make sure I cover it. And then I had to go on some calls today, and I thought, you know what? The dog and I are going to go out and we're going to do some walking calls. Now, I learned my lesson. My dog does not understand social distancing. So I was like, knock it off, Daisy. She went beelining for another dog. Not sure how to disinfect a dog, but I'm looking at how do we do this a couple times throughout the day, get out in the sunshine, move around, and especially if you have the opportunity to do that. But this is a great time to try some different things and to find some classes online that you can do. There's a lot of free resources, and just get moving and find a new thing that you like. But you have to make a commitment. I think it's super important to make a commitment to move every single day and to get out in the sunlight every single day. And if you can do the two together, bonus points. And if you can do the two together and get into the grass, triple trifecta.
Beautiful. Thank you. So agree. Walking is the simplest, cheapest, easiest thing you can possibly do. And so a lot of people are here wondering different things. We've got a few questions we have to just blow through because I promised to get done at 90 minutes. But for those who are listening now and later, watching and listening, if you email questions at healyourhunger.com, questions@healyourhunger.com. Everything's been promised here or free here. The JG's generous offers and information about Deborah's classes, all that we will have a printout and everybody's top 5 suggestions. We're going to put that in a document and send that out. But it's questions@healyourhunger.com. We're going to transcribe this and get that together for you. So questions@healyourhunger.com. Deborah, if you want to just say what you said in the chat on your yoga, when that is.
Yes, so tomorrow on Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, and then Friday and all through the weekend and the foreseeable future, it's at 4. So it's just
Pacific.
The anomaly. Yep, 5 Pacific tomorrow and then 4.
Beautiful. And then real quick before we go through everybody's websites here, the best vitamin C. Everybody wants to know what's the best vitamin C. I've heard any vitamin C is going to be good. Is that true?
Who's answering? Tom?
Okay, I'll answer. I'll vote for liposomal for one thing because it's absorbed much better.
Okay, that's what I take, liposomal. So I didn't know if I was just paying a whole lot of extra or not. I mean, that's worth it, huh? Okay. Great. Good to know. And then we had a very quick question for you, Tom, on glymphatics. It sounds like it's a long answer.
I think I can do it pretty quick.
Okay, go for it.
Glymphatics are basically the lymphatic drainage system of the brain, and it's quite complex. But the thing that we know is that it's supposed to clean the toxic substances out of your brain and get them into your systemic circulation so you can get rid of them. That system of the glymphatics is that detoxification system I alluded to earlier that really primarily appears to work when we're in deep sleep. So that's where we really need to get that 8 to 9 hours and get our nice 90-minute cycles from light to deeper sleep and back out. That's going to optimize that, and it's going to clean up our brains. One quick tip that's really important, though, is that depending upon the author you read, you can get numbers anywhere from 15 to 30% of the drainage from your brain actually occurs through your nasal lymphatics. Yes, actually through your nose and then into your chest. So we want to have a nice upright posture so we're not straining the lymphatics in the neck, but we want to be breathing through our nose. And if our nose is stuffy, we want to breathe through our nose more. And everybody here can share a way to clean out the nose and open it up, but one of the best ways to keep your nose open is to actually breathe through it. And so when you're out doing your walk, you're stimulating your nervous system, you're stimulating your brain, and you're opening up those glymphatics.
Beautiful. Thank you. Let's see. So, Deborah, how do people, your website, how do people reach you?
Flipping50.com, all spelled out, and you can go to flipping50.com/5-day flip.
Okay. And it's 50.
No, it's all
No, it's It's spelled out. Okay. Just like you said. Thank you. And your podcast is?
The Flipping 50 podcast.
Thank you. Tom, how do people reach you?
So I'm at originsofhealth.com, so plural origins. And if you put a / coronavirus, we have a coronavirus resource page. I have a download of the tips we were talking about and some other things. And there's some nice relaxing bonuses that come along with that. But it's just a place where everybody can get what they need. Certainly on Facebook, Origins of Health is a good place to find me, or Dr. Tom Moorcroft over on Instagram.
Thank you. JJ?
jjvirgin.com.
Awesome. Thank you for your brevity. Hyla?
CASSMD.com, CASSMD.com. And I'm in the middle of revising my brain questionnaire, but that informs what products you need to take, what amino acids and vitamins to do different things if you have different symptoms.
Great.
So, good self-quiz.
Thank you. Joan?
drjoanrosenberg.com, and people can get a download of a couple different things if they want to put a /gift. If not, there's plenty of material there for people to dig into. And then at Dr. Joan Rosenberg is most of the handles across the social media.
Beautiful. Thank you. Elisa?
Okay, so best place is www.healthykidshappykids.com. I posted a ton of different articles there on coronavirus. They're not on a special page, they're just in a row. But then also, every day I'm posting more information on my Facebook page. If you just search Healthy Kids, Happy Kids, and also Instagram, healthykids_happy kids. And that's where I have the most up-to-date information.
Beautiful. And Sasha, before you speak, I want to tell you that when you were speaking earlier, my phone is blowing up because I have a friend on who's apparently watching who said, ask him if he's single, or she said, is he single? And I let her know, yes, he's married. I mean, no, he's not single. Yes, he's married to the most beautiful woman ever. So yeah, take it away. How do people get a hold of you and you have
Heartbreaker.
Well, thanks for that. You just made my day. I'll have to tell Deepa that. So what I'd love to offer everyone is our 30-day self-care program. It's called 30 Ways in 30 Days. And one of the bonuses you get is a plant-based cookbook. And so it's got over 100 recipes in there that my wife and I have put together. And the 30 days, you'll get an email every day for 30 days with a self-care tip so you can start feeling your best. I believe that, as Trish mentioned, the doctor of the future is the patient. And instead of finding a better doctor, it's best that we become our own best doctors. And that's where really health starts, is in our home. So we've given our 30 best tips away. If you were to come see any of us in our practices or work with us privately, these would probably be the starting points for really transformational health. So I want to give that out to everybody and be of service.
Beautiful. That's a great gift. And if anybody's finding it hard to just stop eating sugar, it might be because you're an emotional eater. I have a quiz on my website, healyourhunger.com, that you can find out for sure if you're an emotional eater or a food addict, actually, which is where I was, on the top end of that spectrum. And that's a free quiz on my website, healyourhunger.com. And as I said, if you email questions at healyourhunger.com, I will send you the goodies that have been offered here as well, and we'll also resource it in the on the page as well. So yeah, so to guys, this has been amazing, and you've all been so amazing. And I find amazing, I mean, sometimes people are like, oh, I want all new information, like don't tell me something I know already. I find I need to hear it again and again and again. So anything here, we didn't cook this stuff up. Like, it's been said before, but guess what? We need, repetition strengthens and confirms. And we all need, experts need reminders as well to take care of themselves, to put their care, their self-care front of the line, and to meditate and to breathe and to do all these other things. So I'm just so glad that everybody thought enough of themselves to be here and to really to just access this information and these reminders so we can keep it front and center in our minds. I want to end with an affirmation that my sister sent me a video yesterday of somebody, I don't know if you call them a guru or a master teacher or whatever. And I just found it such a positive affirmation. And I just want to share that. I come from a perfect source, and I am bound for a perfect goal. The light of the perfect being is kindled in my soul. I live, move, and have my being in God, and nothing in the world of the past or present has the power to touch me if I rise above all. And when we stay, and that's the quote, and I just find that so positive. If we stay positive, if we stay, focusing on solutions, that's how we can do is we can rise above all. And I believe that. So thank you all, panelists, friends, people I love so much. I so appreciate you being here. You've brought so much value to this tonight, to all of us. And just God bless, and God bless everybody. Please be safe, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks for organizing, Trish.
Thank you.
Thanks, Trish.
Wow. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Trish.
Have a good night.
Love you all.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast and want to get free support, insider health info, exclusive invites to events, and more, visit healyourhunger.com.